I told you guys something big is cooking up here. It's not just about the attack in Colorado, it's about the attack that the Trump administration is trying to stop from happening. Well, Donald Trump just came out and issued a travel ban for 12 countries, including Libya, Congo, Haiti, a whole bunch of different countries that may be attached to some of the hatred toward the United States of America that will cause some type of terrorist attack. The reason why he did this is because of what has been happening, of course, in the last 4 years with a whole bunch of unvetted people that have come in here. Now, Dan Bongino is on camera and he is on with Hannity right here on Fox News, and they're talking about the growing threats of drones and how many different things are lining up that if the average American knew about this, they would not be able to sleep at night. So again, Dan Bongino, if you guys know him, former Secret Service, now deputy director of the FBI. He had a show. He's no longer on the show. So I'm going to try to give you guys as many updates with Dan Bongino as I could. But this one is a big one. And I need you guys to listen closely to what he says here because this is big. Are you guys worried about another 9/11 style attack in the United States of America? Take a listen.
And I know you all to be honorable people. My sources have repeatedly told me that they can barely sleep at night, that if the average American knew how bad it was, they'd be shocked to their inner core. Is that true?
Yeah. By the way, if you call me sir, I'll start looking for my dad. So let's not start that anytime soon, Sean. But I appreciate it. I'm just trying to lighten it up because your question's so serious. Yeah. But the premise of your question is 100% accurate. The threat picture now for the United States is dramatic, and I really appreciate we have a president, an attorney general, and FBI director who take those threats seriously. I mean, you name it, Sean. You ask me what's the biggest threat right now. People say, well, what keeps you up at night? Well, the answer is that I'd never sleep if I thought about this stuff all the time, but it all keeps me up at night. The drone threat. This is a perilous, acute threat. It's not here tomorrow. It's here today. Everybody saw what happened in Russia. It's only a matter of time if we don't take action, which I promise.
By the way, this is serious. This just gave me the chills. By the way, just looking at Dan's face, he's very serious about this. What just happened in Russia, excuse me, what just happened in Russia was huge because that was a drone attack. Now, again, something like that happens here. Again, we have entered the age of technology where you don't even have to go to a battlefield to do damage. The damage is right in front of our faces with the technology of AI and drone technology as well. You know, and we saw the New Jersey drones. So this is something that's keeping him up at night. This is why the travel ban is necessary. This is why the administration taking action, whether you agree with Israel or not. Again, whatever side of the aisle you fall on, this is a very serious threat to America.
Issue. The Attorney General and the Director and I are taking action on this threat. It is here right now. You've got the threat of AI, alignment there. You've got the threat of China, infiltration into our systems. It's been publicly reported. You've seen it. When you get the President's Daily Brief every morning, like the Director and I do for this half an hour block we get, it's the first thing we do. You know, Sean, you walk out of there and you're like, somebody go get me a cup of coffee. I mean, this is really, I need a coffee relaxes me a little bit because you go out of there, your blood pressure's through the roof. It's so many different things to action. And one last thing, when you combine that with the Director and I, our priority, which is reform. Without reform, we're not going to have anything because the American people won't trust us. They will not trust us. And after what happened, I don't blame them for that mistrust. You combine that and layer it on. We got a big job, but the Director and I are glad we're doing it.
All right. Okay, so let me ask you guys this. Would you want anybody else to do this job? Knowing where we're at right now in our nation's history, but in the history of the world, right? With technology, drone technology, AI, China. By the way, I just reported yesterday, there's a huge threat from China. They're buying all this land. By the way, Katie Hobbs of Arizona vetoed a bill to stop China from buying land next to military bases. That's a real threat. China is here. China would love the downfall of the United States of America so they could take over, so they could be number one. They would love that. So again, the drone attack that happened in Russia is so monumentally what the future looks like if we don't step in and try to limit that access as soon as we can from other countries doing it to us. So again, Dan Bongino goes. That's what keeps him up at night. And yeah, let's take a listen. There's more.
There has been, let me get to this first. I had a graduation ceremony this morning down in Quantico with a class of new agents, and I looked every one of them in the eye, shook their hands. I said, listen, you're going to do this for us. You're going to protect the homeland, and you're going to go bring me bad guys. You understand? I said, there's no one coming to save us. The Marvel Avengers ain't coming. It is us. We are in charge. We have the counterterrorism portfolio. This president and this attorney general, they have a different view than we've had in the past of the FBI. This is very important. Your audience understands this. The FBI in the past focused on large enterprise cases. The Al Capone, John Gotti, KSM, Al-Qaeda types. And we are still and always going to do that. But there's a parallel track. This president also sees this border problem as a solvable problem. Now think about this, Sean. That never happens in police science and criminology. No one solves murder. You solve a murder. No one saw murder happen, sadly. The president has a different view of this border problem. He said, we are going to fix this for good. We're sealing it shut. Everybody here is out. We are going to get rid of you if you are here illegally. And if you're here illegally to commit a crime, you're going first. We're giving you about 5 minutes to cooperate. If you don't have any information, we're going to use every tool we have, Title VIII and every other one, to get you the hell out of the country. You're not going to be here to commit crime. It is a really revolutionary view. It's almost like national level broken windows policing. That collapse in the murder rate.
Clear.
Thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, that it happened. That collapse in the murder rate. We are on pace, Sean, for the lowest murder rate ever. Is not an accident. Here's what's happening. When this small pocket of people, maybe less than 5% of the population, is committing the overwhelming majority of crimes, and you get rid of a good portion of them, they're not here to commit crimes. And that's why you're seeing this collapse in the murder rate. And I think you're going to see a subsequent collapse in the crime rate as well when Cash and I are done this year.
Again, speaking of Kash Patel, Deputy Director, Dan Bongino as well. Speaking of Donald Trump's plan for the border, again, as you get ready or you try to prevent a 9/11 style attack, we saw the Boulder, Colorado. That was crazy. The man tried to set people on fire. That was just wild. But that attack happened, right? Now it could have been much worse. Things could always be much worse. But what this administration is trying to prevent is a huge attack. And also another thing he says here is, no one's coming to save us. We are responsible for this. We have to do this. Yeah, your responsibility literally falls on the FBI to try to prevent mass casualties from happening, especially when it doesn't seem like we're gonna be at peace anytime soon. At least Russia and Ukraine seem to be getting out of hand due to the fact that United States senators and congressmen and women keep egging on this fight, keep egging on Vladimir Putin. So there's a lot going on. There's so many moving pieces, but it does give me some type of insurance to be sure about the fact that, okay, these are the right guys for the job, especially since they are very aware of the growing threats of what the border has looked like in the last 4 years and what the world looks like as the world is more chaotic than it's ever been. So it'll be a very interesting time. Very, very interesting how, and I'm pretty sure we're going to find out about planned attacks, about drone attacks, about many different things. So, but the fact to hear that this keeps Dan Bongino up at night does make me a lot more at ease. The fact that this dude and this administration is taking these types of things serious, because, man, I would hate to see another 9/11 in the United States of America. I would hate that with all of my heart.